Hello, welcome back to Raw Sports Takes with your host Miguel Sanchez. Today is September 6th, 2024. This is the second episode ever I have made on this. Today we're going to do a quick recap of yesterday's football game. Football season got started, at least NFL wise, got started last night. And then we're going to go into the game previews for week one. And so let's get started. Yesterday was a good game. It was between the Ravens and the Chiefs. The Chiefs ended up winning 27-20. That game came down to inches, literally. It came down to that touchdown that was called, and then it was reversed when they looked at the highlights, just for the simple reason that the guy had his toe hit the line, and that was crazy to watch. And yeah, I don't know if the Ravens would have had enough to go into overtime and win it there, but it ended up being a good game. I like games like that. I like games that come down to the last play, to the last second, and to the last inch. It's good games. I don't like Thursday night games for the simple reason they're blowouts for most of the time. Most games are just complete blowouts and complete boring games. Unless you gamble a lot, you really don't care for Thursday night games, or if your team's playing, of course. But other than that, game was really good. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator there for Kansas City, put a really good game plan for Lamar Jackson. It was interesting to watch in the sense of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I was excited to watch that. The first touchdown, Derrick Henry, their score. I was like, there we go. This is what they needed. They needed somebody to really pound the football. But then they kind of got to wait a little bit from it. But that's mostly because a game plan from Steve Spagnuolo. If you notice, he ended up putting a lot of big guys there and try to stop Derrick Henry when he was in. And then when Derrick Henry was uh, their substitute there for Justice Hill, then he put in smaller, faster guys to match the speed that the Ravens were getting there. The Ravens had. Uh, I think it's just gonna get to learn because Derrick Henry's used to being the guy and running the ball all the time, so it's gonna get a little bit used to. So they're kind of having like a little identity crisis there with the team. They're gonna get better. I think they get a lot better, and they're gonna do better. And they're gonna be a contenders. The Baltimore is gonna be a contenders. I don't think they win the division, like I said before in the last episode, but I think they're gonna be a contender. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He looked good. He was throwing the ball very well. He got away from a couple of pass rushers there, and I believe it was the second quarter that I watched. They had him there, two guys, and boom, he got out of it through a nice pass to Travis Kelsey. I think it was for 20 yards, over 20 yards. So that was really well. That was really good. Patrick Mahomes looked good. The offensive line looked decent. The running attack. I mean, the run attack is going to be the run attack for Kansas City. They're not going to have that great of a runners per se. Pacheco's just that's enough, and that's good enough for that team. Now the new weapon, Xavier Worthy, he looked good. I gotta admit, when he went to Kansas City, they're gonna put him in the right spots. Andy Reid knows speed. He knows football players. Like, do I believe he's the next Tyreek Hill? No, he's not. He's not even close to being Tyreek Hill. I think he resembles more Deshaun Jackson when he was Philadelphia. I don't know if you guys remember, but Andy Reid used to coach Philadelphia, and that's where they had Deshaun Jackson, and he kind of has that body type and that kind of speed. So Andy Reid knows where to put players, so he'll do very well in the NFL. Two touchdowns, two of them for longer than 20 yards. So it's they got a new toy, and the new toy is working there for them. As far as that, like I said before, defense is looking good, offensive line decent, and Patrick Mahomes probably going to win the division, and their odds are probably going to get a little bit better after this game of winning the Super Bowl. Again, a three-peat. No team has ever done it, so that'll be interesting to watch as far as that. So that's a quick recap of the game. My quick thoughts on it. I'm not going to overreact too much into it just for the simple reason that it's the first game and it's a Thursday night game. There's a lot of excitement, and there's going to be a lot of retooling the staff as far as the players. So you might see them not run the ball too much and be more spread, like if, for example, Lamar Jackson, but then afterwards you're going to see it be more of a running attack towards the end. So maybe that happens, but that's it. Now, I'm going to start previewing the games here. Start previewing week one here. I'm going to start with Friday night a game. Green Bay at Philadelphia, which is at Brazil, really. It's not at Philadelphia. It's at Brazil. This is going to be a weird game. It's going to be between Jordan Love and Green Bay Packers. You got Philadelphia, who Jalen Hurts, new offensive coordinator. It's going to be an interesting matchup as far as both teams go. It's going to be weird for the simple reason, like I said, it's in Brazil. From what I hear rumors that the players have to stay in the room the whole 3 days they're there. It's going to be very humid, I think, that in that game. So it's going to be interesting to watch him and watch some of the cramps to see if people start cramping up. But they got the Packers right now. They're down. They got Philadelphia up, favored by 1.5 points. This is the crapshoot. Who I really don't understand what's going on here, or why they decided to have the first game of the season for these two teams over there in Brazil. I get it; they're trying to expand it and everything, but we're gonna see what this is why I said leadership really comes into handy with Jason Kelsey retiring, and we'll see what happens here. I think for the most part, Philadelphia ends up winning this game. I could care less who wins this game, to be honest with you. But I'll take, since I am a Cowboys fan. I believe I would like to see Green Bay win it, but I think Philadelphia ends up winning it. Moving on to the next game is gonna be. This is just a boring ass. I wouldn't even tune in to watch this game. I would just watch the highlights on this because this is gonna be a shitty game. It's gonna be between the Carolina Panthers at New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 4 points right now, and I just don't see any scoring in this game. They're both terrible, terrible offense, terrible defenses, terrible quarterbacks. It would be interesting to see Bryce Young. Maybe he bulk up a little bit during the offseason. Maybe he looks a little bit better and understands the game better. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt because he's, like I said before, he's a little too small for me to be playing quarterback. But I just don't see anything. I don't see. This is not a watchable game. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'll probably just end up watching the highlights on this. There's no interesting uh, narratives or anything really storylines on this game because we'll be interested. The only thing will be interested is if Derek Carr gets benched. I guess that's the only thing that'd be interesting to watch. Other than that, it's a boring game. I will skip it. Next game we got is Tennessee Titans at Chicago Bears. Now that's a really good one. If you're a Chicago Bear fan, you're very excited. You want to see it. Chicago's actually favored by 3.5 points. Now, as a football fan, I'm super excited because they were my sleeper pick as a wild card here in Chicago. So there's going to be an interesting game to watch. As far as you really want to watch Caleb Williams, see really what he can do. Tennessee's kind of exciting too and kind of interesting because you got Will Levis and they signed Calvin Riley. They got Tyler Boyd from Cincinnati, and they got Tony Pollard, the ex-Cowboys running back. So it'll be interesting to see what Will Levis can do. He had that one exciting game, and then he kind of crapshoot the rest of it. So he's past his rookie season, so it'll be interesting to watch him play and see what we can do, see what he has to show. But for the most part, I'm more excited about Chicago. They got a really good defense. The offensive line is decent, and Caleb Williams with all those weapons is going to be an exciting, and especially in Chicago, it's going to be a lot of overreactions. I am going to have an overreaction show after week one, probably on Monday or Tuesday after the Monday night games, because the Monday night game is going to be very interesting. We'll get to that later. But give me, like I said, Chicago. I'll take Chicago on that one. The next one is Houston Texans at Indianapolis Colts. The Texans are favored by 3 points, of course, as they should. They're very talented. It's going to be interesting to watch C.J. Stroud with Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs. And then the defense, of course, they're going to have Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter, who they added from Minnesota. If you're a Colts fan, just like if you're a Chicago fan, you're super excited about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is going to show what he can, see what he can do. And then hopefully Jonathan Taylor's a little healthier, so it'll be a running game most of the time. So it's going to be interesting to watch this game as far as that dynamics. I think just Anthony Richardson has a really hard time with that Houston Texans defense. That defense is just too good, and that offense is way too good. So there's going to be a lot of scoring points, I think, in the Texans, and then Anthony Richardson trying to catch up. So really trying to play the run game between Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson is not going to work for the Colts in this game because they're going to be down for a bit. So for that reason, it's going to be easy one. I don't think it's an easy game because division games are always hard, but I still take Texans should win this one hands down. Next game is going to be Arizona Cardinals at Buffalo Bills. This is a interesting game just the debut of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray playing together after that ACL ended his career, not ended his career, ended his season. Sorry. So that's going to be interesting if you're a Cardinals fan. It looks like Buffalo's favored by 6.5 points. That's quite a bit of points, I think, just for the simple reason that Josh Allen doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Can you really name a wide receiver on that team unless you're a fan of them? I think they, from what top of my head, got a receiver because they traded the first round draft pick for say Xavier Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs, which that was really interesting. That might come back and bite them in the butt again. But hey, who am I? But the only thing that he does have, he does have that tight end Downton Kincaid. But this defense is gonna be good. They're pretty good. They're decent, and then but I think it's gonna be more of a shootout between Buffalo and Arizona. So I think this game's a lot closer. And actually, I think, you know what? I think the Arizona Cardinals cover the spread and actually win this game. I think they get the upset. I really do. I don't believe in Josh Allen, especially after he has no receivers. And I think the Arizona Cardinals could come in there and shock him, just like the Jets shock the Buffalo Bills last year. But of course, that was with Zach Wilson, of all players. So that was what I'm picking. The next game is going to be New England Patriots at Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals favored by 8.5. That should be a really easy game. Jacoby Brissett is going to start. The only thing that you should be looking at if you're a Patriots fan is maybe Jacoby Brissett gets benched there at the game and loses the spot, and Drake May comes in. Maybe that's it, or maybe this is the beginning of that. Cincinnati, it's going to be interesting to watch Joe Burrow come back, see what happens after that wrist injury. See, I know a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on that. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that because I think he is they are a Super Bowl team with Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase, that's a different. He's been practicing, but he's still in that contract dispute. Is he going to play? I believe he does play. How long? I don't know. I really don't know how long he's going to play. Um, for the simple reason that he has to be in shape for playing, which is kind of weird to me because you're a professional player and professional players should be in shape all the time if you're getting paid millions. So that'd be interesting because he does want one penny more than Justin Jefferson. So they're probably working on the contract, and I think he gets done. I think it gets done before the game, and Jamar Chase plays. If he doesn't play, I think the line goes a little bit lower. Cincinnati is favored by less points at 8.5, but I think Cincinnati is an easy win. It's at Cincinnati, and New England. New England play tough. I admit they probably will play tough, but I don't think they have any firepower to keep up with them. Next one at game up is going to be Jacksonville Jaguars at Miami Dolphins. This one, you know what? This one I'm going to take an upset. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami's favored by 3.5, but I think Jacksonville should win this game because I just think they have quite a bit of weapons there. Trevor Lawrence might actually come play better than he did last year, and it should play better than he did last year. And it's in Miami, and for some reason I just don't believe in the coach from Miami. I think they have a lot of injuries. They got a lot of players still out on the defensive side. So I think if Jacksonville is able to put up some points, I think they should be able to keep this game pretty close. I think it comes down to a field goal between these two teams, and I think Jacksonville ends up winning the game on that one. Other than that, keep an eye on Tua, Tyreek Hill, and just pretty much the same this high scoring offense. But the defense is the biggest question mark there, and because of that, I think Jacksonville gets that upset. I think they get that upset in that game. Next one up is going to be Minnesota Vikings and New York Giants. This is just another unwatchable game. Be honest with you. This game, in Minnesota's favor by half a point and a half, which is kind of weird because they both are pretty crappy teams, and usually the home team gets the advantage, gets usually his favor, but on this one they're not. They're being to watch Sam Darnold. How well is he gonna play with Justin Jefferson? I think Justin Jefferson puts up stats and puts up numbers, and I think Minnesota does win this game because of that. Their defense is better. Their offense is a little bit slightly better, and the Giants have nobody. The only thing that I'm watching for this is probably the boos, the New York fan of Giants boos. I think they're gonna start booing Daniel Jones. Especially if he starts off really bad in the first half, throws a pick or two, that's it. The fans are going to just start throwing stuff at him. I wouldn't be shocked with that, and that's what I'll be watching for more than anything else football wise. But that's probably going to be a highlight of either Twitter, Instagram, or some social media thing because I'm not going to watch this game. This game is just unwatchable. It's terrible to watch, and I'm glad it's a morning game because nobody cares really about it. Next game up is going to be Pittsburgh Steelers at Atlanta Falcons. That's Atlanta here is favored by 3.5, and that's an easy win. I think Atlanta should win this game. They got Kirk Cousins, the better quarterback. There's question marks right now with a lot of question marks right now with Russell Wilson. They say he might not play actually because of his calf injury. If he doesn't play, I think Pittsburgh has an actual good chance. Justin Fields gets in there. I think the problem with Justin Fields in Chicago was he didn't have that quite a bit of a good cast around him and good coaching per se. And I think Pittsburgh more a stable organization and better coaches. So and I think if they able to calm him down and actually get him to play better, I think he actually will end up winning some games here. And we'll see what happens with this. So it's going to be an interesting to watch if Pittsburgh decides to bench Russell Wilson because of his injury, because the injury is worse than we think it is, and then they end up starting Justin Fields. If Justin Fields starts, I actually would think Pittsburgh wins this game. But if Russell Wilson starts, then I'm going to take Atlanta on it. Atlanta should win this game. Next up on this is the Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks. That is pretty close to unwatchable. Seattle's favored by 6 points. There's not much to say here. Besides Sean Payne and the debut of Bo Nix, I mean, that's the only thing really storyline here to watch is just Bo Nix, see how he performs, see if he gets better as the game goes on, or if he gets worse. But from what I don't know. I just really don't know because I would like to see Bo Nix throw the ball a little bit deeper, but he's not known for that, and his receivers are, especially Cortland Sutton. He's a really good deep pass catcher, but I just don't see that. It's an easy game for Seattle. I think it's at Seattle. It's gonna get crazy. It's the first week of the season, so Seattle should win that one. So it's because Bo Nix just goes into quarterbacks to start off. It's rookies. It's hard for them to win games as it is as a rookie, and then you're going into a real hostile environment, which is Seattle, which Seattle has probably some of the best fans and home field advantage. So that should be an easy win. I can see a lot of turnovers by Bo Nix, and it should be, like I said, Seattle should have that in the bag. Next game is Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers. This is more, Chargers are favored by 3 points, and it is a home game for the Chargers, but there's going to be a lot of Vegas fans there. Raiders fans, not Vegas fans, a lot of Raiders fans, just because Raiders used to play there in California, and just because apparently every single game you watch with the Chargers, the opposite team fans, there's a lot of them in there. There's not many. I have to this day not met any Charger fans, like legit Charger fans. Like I grew up watching the Chargers, kind of fans like that. I met some fans when LT was there, when Phillip Rivers was there, kind of those kind of fans, but not a real true Chargers fan. That's why it's easy to see why the other teams' fans are always there at the game. But still, the Chargers should win this game pretty handily. They got the better quarterback. They got the better coach, even though I like Antonio Pierce from the Raiders. But they just don't have no quarterback. I'm sorry, Gardner Minshew, but you're just not a good quarterback. So it's an easy win. The only storylines to this is really just to see what Justin Herbert does. If he ends up missing Keenan Allen quite a bit, how well does the other receivers play? They got Joshua Palmer, I believe, and then they also got that rookie from TCU they drafted last year. So we'll see how that evolves. But the biggest thing I think here, Harbaugh loves to run the ball, and he got Gus Edwards, who used to be with the Baltimore Ravens, and he has J.K. Dobbins also from the Raiders. So that from the Ravens. They also got J.K. Dobbins from the Ravens, so that should be interesting to watch. I believe he's gonna run the ball a lot, so that's gonna be It's gonna be a close game, but I think they win it. They win it handily. Now we'll come to the primetime games more, and this is gonna be Dallas Cowboys versus Cleveland Browns. This one they got Cleveland favored by 2.5, and I think Cleveland does win this game. I think there's gonna be a lot of chemistry issues not chemistry issues, but they just miss reps in the offseason between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And apparently they're making a big old ass deal about CeeDee Lamb not being in football shape. And then they're all like, well, if you watch most of your talking heads, they're all like, well, there's football shape and then there's wide receiver football shape, which is another level. Which is crazy to me to think about. It's just the most bizarre, it's like, I don't know, take my job, for example. I gotta warm up. I cannot go to a cardiac arrest and be like, "Whoa, sorry, sir, I'm not in shape right now. I've been off on vacation for 2 weeks. Now I'm gonna show up. This is just gonna be a warm up right now, and then I'll get into paramedic shape, and then I'll really get into it. And the next guy, he'll really get the help that he needs." I think it's a load of shit. There's a football shaped crap thing all the time. You're a professional football player. You get paid millions of dollars. You should have a damn athletic trainer, or at the minimum, invest in your body and really be into shape. It's not like he's coming weighing 20, 30 pounds overweight. He has a beer gut or a dad bod and he's walking around and he has to get into shape. He has to take a couple games. It's a bunch of bullshit. So for either way, I just don't think what's missing there is more the reps than he is in shape kind of thing. So we'll see. It's going to be a defensive battle, I think. Cleveland has, as of right now, probably has a better defense because it's going to be at home for them. But it's going to come down to quarterback play. Can Deshaun Watson do just enough to win the game? And I think he does. I think he just does enough. It's going to be a close game. And I think it ended up going to probably a field goal. It's going to come down to a field goal. Now, depending on what happens, if we get more injury reports later on and we see that some of the players they're missing here in Cleveland don't end up playing. And, well, then in that case, maybe they could steal it right here. But we all well known, Cowboys are not. They're not well. They're not going to perform well. They just put it that way. And I'm a Cowboys fan, so this is just disappointing. This is hard for me to pick against them, but I'm going non-biased here. I'm going Cleveland, but of course I'll be cheering for the Cowboys. Next game up is going to be. It's watchable. Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be an interesting game just because you like to see the rooks play. I like to see the rookie play quarterbacks. So it's going to be interesting to see Washington with a new quarterback, new head coach, new organization. So that's going to be really good. Can Jaden Daniels perform to his Heisman Trophy level he did last year? I don't think so. I think he's going to have a hard time. Like I said, rookies have a really hard time playing in the NFL, and especially playing away. You're going to go against a hostile environment there in Tampa Bay, even though it's not like Seattle kind of environment, but still, it's going to be tough to play against them. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Storylines from there is going to be, of course, Jalen Daniels, like I said, and then the other one, can the Bucks perform well again with the head coach Todd Bowles? Last year they went 10-5. He's a really good defensive coordinator. He's going to put up a really good defense against Jaden Daniels, and for that reason, I think the defense is going to play and make Jaden Daniels look like a rookie. So they end up winning that game. They are favored by 3.5, and they should win. Tampa Bay should win that game. Next game up is going to be Los Angeles Rams with Detroit Lions. That is the game to watch, I believe, in Week 1 for Sunday. Sunday night game is going to be a great one. Actually, I think the Rams are very underappreciated here and underrated. They got Detroit by 4.5 points favor. I get that Detroit went to the NFC Championship last year, but I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think the Rams are going to be the better team. They're the better, well-coached team. They got the better quarterback, and it's going to be crazy. That game's going to be in Detroit. The fans are going to be crazy. They got a lot of hopes there. They got a lot of enthusiasm, but I just don't think that it's going to be. I think the Rams are very underrated, and I think the Rams end up winning that game. Of course, all depends on if the receiver Puka Nacua ends up playing that game. If he doesn't play, then I'll take it back. That's probably what it is. If Puka Nacua ends up sitting that game out, then yeah, probably Detroit will win, and I'll change and I'll say Detroit wins. But healthy wise, if Puka plays, I think the Rams end up winning this game. Super interesting. Like I said, McVay, can he come back to the playoffs? Can Matthew Stafford stay healthy and be playing there, or is it's time for Detroit? It's time for. I did pick him as a Super Bowl pick to get to the Super Bowl, so Detroit might be. So Detroit's not that far in. Now move to the Monday night game. The Monday night game of the season. It's going to be between the New York. Oh, not New York. Sorry, it is in New York. The New York Jets at San Francisco 49ers. That is going to probably be I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a great game to watch. We are talking about, when we talk New York Jets, we talk Aaron Rodgers. We're going to talk Aaron Rodgers. Even though Aaron Rodgers has only played 4 snaps for them, Aaron Rodgers is the Jets. Everything falls on him. All the hopes, all the Super Bowl talk, everything's going to fall on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders. Can he stay healthy? Can he play 4 more games? Can he, if he stays healthy and he just plays to half of what he's known for, that team's going to be good, and that team will end up. I think they end up going in the wild card, and they might do some damage in the playoffs. But the Jets, I think the Jets are going to be pretty good this season with Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be the line. That's going to be the biggest storyline. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's going to be watching Aaron Rodgers the whole time. They're going to be watching the way he steps, the way he throws the ball, the way he lands on that calf. The way it's going to be a crazy. All the cameras are going to be on him, and that's what New York media is, and that's going to be on the other San Francisco side. I think San Francisco ends up winning this game. They got a better defense. Well, defense, actually they're both kind of the same, but the biggest thing is can Brock Purdy be more efficient with Christian McCaffrey? Believe he's injured. He has that calf injury, or he's nursing that calf injury. Same thing that I said about Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Can Brandon Ayuk and the chemistry still be there between Purdy because they didn't get the reps in the offseason? They should. I mean, they played together for the last 2 years. But we'll see what happens. I think the better offense is with the San Francisco 49ers. As long as Christian McCaffrey's healthy. If he's not healthy, this game is going to be a lot closer and it's going to come down to a field goal. But if it isn't, if he is healthy, I think they could easily win this by a touchdown. But we'll see what Aaron Rodgers can do. We'll see if all the hype is real and everything goes that way. So those are my picks, and that's I'm going to pick up San Francisco on that one. That should be, like I said, very interesting week one. They have a lot of good games and a lot of and they got like I think I said 2 or 3 really crappy games that they have no business watching. I have no business watching, and nobody should have been unless you're a fan of that team. Then you should watch that game, but it looks terrible. I'll recap real quick. Like I said, I'm gonna take Philadelphia over Green Bay and the Friday night game, and then the Sunday night games. I'm going to take Atlanta over Pittsburgh. I'm going to take the Cardinals over Buffalo, Chicago over Tennessee, Bengals over Patriots, Texans over Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars over Miami, Panthers. Did I pick a winner there? I didn't think. Saints. I'll take the Saints over the Panthers, Minnesota over the Giants, Chargers over the Raiders, Seattle Seahawks over the Denver Broncos. I'll take the Cleveland Browns over the Cowboys. Tampa Bay over Washington. The Rams, if Puka's playing, if he's not playing, then I'll take Detroit against the Rams. And then the last game, I'll take San Francisco over the Jets. That's my quick recap there of week one picks. This is going to be a crazy game. There's going to be some crazy games, and there's going to be some upsets per se because it is week one. But thank you for listening again to my picks, listen to my recap. I am going to have a recap of week one coming up. If we're going to do that probably Tuesday. I recorded Tuesday because I want to watch the Monday night game. Or maybe I'll do it Monday and then I'll do a recap again Tuesday, preview Tuesday or whatever. But it will go from there. Okay? Thank you for listening. Have a great day.